You're listening to the Blatino Nerd. Uncut, uncensored, unfiltered. Get dirty and keep it nerdy.
Hello out there, members of the Nerd Herd. Thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of the Blatino Nerd. And today, as promised, because you all requested it, this episode is dedicated to the Spice Girls. That is right. Most of you who know me know that I am one of the biggest Spice Girl fans walking God's green earth. I have never stand so hard, and I don't even use the term stand. I've never stand so hard for any group like I do the Spice Girls. And for the next 30, 40 minutes, or however long, this is what we're going to be talking about. So if you're a Spice Girl fan, or if you're curious as to who the hell the Spice Girls are, this is your episode. But before I get into that, I need to talk to the gentleman of the room, if you're listening. Fellas, it's hot. You're sweaty. You know what women really find sexier than you yourself? When you take care of yourself. I know my wife appreciates it. That's why the people at Ballsy have got your sack. Such wonderful ingredients. And no bullshit. It's made of all the good stuff like essential oils, plant extracts. There's no sulfates, parabens, stuff you can't pronounce. And for those lovey-dovey and caring and cherishing types, they don't test their products on animals. And you have like such wonderful products as the Bar Wash Nut, Butt, and Body Spray. You also have the Sack Spray. Keeps you smelling fresh. I use these products regularly, and I gotta tell you, they're so good, you're never gonna want to leave your shower. I'm a bigger guy. I need to take care of myself, and sometimes soap and water just don't do it. Personally, I think the little guys deserve better. And if you do, I need you to click on the link here that lets them know that the Blatino Nerd sent you, and use the code BLATINO for 20% off of your order. You won't regret it. Ballsy. Keep the funk off your junk. Now, joining me on this episode is, well, what can I say? She's probably been the biggest influence on everything that I'm into. She is pretty much the sole driving force behind the Blatino Nerd. She is the walking encyclopedia of all things spice. Give it up for my sister, Kawaii.
Hey, people. Yeah, I'm a pretty kind of spicy girl.
Yeah, we are some spicy girls.
Yeah, we're spicy girls. Right on down to the lollipop, the bubble gum, the video game, the solo records. I got a little bit of everything for everybody.
Oh my God, the lollipop.
I'm the spice rack.
Spice rack. I dig it. Oh my God, the lollipops, the fucking fantasy balls. Remember
They
those?
were amazing. I remember us going to the bodega before it got shut down for all the drugs, and we would rack up on massive amounts of candy, sometimes for free because the guy would be high.
Yo, shout out to Max. I don't know if Max is still among us. If not, I mean, I'm not surprised if he isn't. But if he is, shout out to Max.
He kept it real.
He did. He was always high as a kite, but he always had the best shit.
The best candy, anyway.
He did.
And not drugs candy. Candy.
I mean, he had that kind of candy too, but...
I gotta be honest, I still remember the first time I ever heard the Spice Girls. I remember hearing Wannabe on a Saturday morning, because if you're like an American and old enough to know, Fox used to have a radio station for like kids that would come on Saturday, Sunday afternoons, and they would play random pop songs. They would like clean top 40. And they played Wannabe, and I thought it was the most ridiculous nonsense ever, and I had to be a part of it because their accents were so strong.
They were. Oh my god.
It's just like, what kind of back alley English is this? I was accustomed to, a little bit more of a proper sort of an English speaker. Yeah, the Phil Collins types, the Lisa Stansfields of the world, even the Mick Jaggers. But they were like a pop version of Ozzy Osbourne. and being, I'd imagine, I was about probably 10. Yeah, I think I was like 10 years old. So I immediately aggravated my grandmother into buying me this cassette, which I still own. I still have this cassette, and it still plays, thank you very much, even though I do have it on CD too, because I'm old.
I do have the CDs in my car.
And then before I knew it, they were everywhere. So I felt justified in my obsession, because I was not alone. Then he hopped on the bandwagon.
I did. I had to, because you guys... Okay, one thing you guys have to know about me, or you probably don't know about me, I was one of those, kids... I grew up in an area where people weren't into the shit that we were into. So if my sister had something new and cool, I immediately wanted to be a part of it. Like, my sister would tell me about the Spice Girls, and I was like, Spice Girls? What's that? I didn't realize it was a pop group. So, she puts me onto them. And these are for all the 80s and 90s babies. They had the box back then. Mm-hmm. And they had, the top 5 most requested videos. And Wannabe was one of them. And I remember falling asleep with my TV on. And Wannabe came on at 3 in the morning. And I'm fast asleep. And the first thing I hear is, yo, and I jumped up. And, if I were allowed to curse, I would have been like, what the fuck was that?
Loud ass, ratchet ass British people.
So, I ended up, after, my heart sank back into my chest where it belongs, I listened to the song. And I called Kawaii the next day. And I'm telling her about the song, and she goes, that's the Spice Girls. And I'm like, oh, I like the Spice Girls.
You like the Spice Girls. Yeah, see, I saw the video first on this thing that used to come on in the middle of the night it was Channel 4. They would play videos from all around the world, and that was like the most popular video in the world. And I was like, okay, so I see them and they're getting out of the car. And to finally see them after hearing them, the pieces fell into place, because now I saw that they did indeed look like ratchet ass fucking, English hood rats or something with, scary shirt on. And you could see her nipples, and it was just ridiculous. And the jiggling and all of that. And I'm like, this really isn't kids' music. No, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the cheap choreography on the staircase. Yeah, it was very colorful. It appealed to me. I understand why kids like them so much. They were very animated.
Yeah, I remember looking at Baby Spice, a.k.a. Emma Bunton, and I was like, why are that chick's boots so high? How can anybody walk in boots that high? I can barely walk in sneakers. And this blonde British chick is walking around with platform shoes taller than me.
Platform sneakers. Yeah, I remember thinking that I must have been probably the same height as her.
Yeah.
They were all petite. That was another reason I kind of liked them. I knew I was never going to be some tall, strapping woman. So to have a group of people that were probably about 5'3" and below was kind of appealing.
Yeah, that's true. And I remember seeing Scary Spice, and I was like, oh, hey, they have a black girl, and she raps. Back then, I didn't think anything of it, but now I'm like, y'all found the only black girl, and then y'all decided y'all were going to make her rap on the song.
No, I believe she was a Gemini, and she wanted to rap because they're silly.
That's the most logical thing that I can
think of. And then, of course, she is viably, actually, from the hood of England. That's true. For her to be a hood-ish type person was really practical. I mean, they all represented whatever it is that they did. And the thing is, I find that in America, I don't really see this so much in other countries when I talk to people about the Spice Girls, but definitely in America, the most popular members were sort of based on, it wasn't like a personality thing like it was in England. It was a cultural appearance type thing in America. I felt like a bunch of black people liked Scary because she was black, and a whole gang of white girls like Jerry because she was like the most British one out of all of them. And a lot of my Hispanic friends tend to lean towards Sporty and Victoria, and I feel like it's because Sporty sort of looked like a chola. She was very breakdancey.
Sporty is definitely why I like girls.
Yeah.
I can tell you that much.
And,
Sporty's definitely why I was 100% sure I was in the girls.
And, and Victoria was really, hey, But my favorite member was always Emma. Because she was just there, chilling. It's like she was there, you knew her. She had something going on, but you weren't quite sure what. And I'm like, yeah, this one seems like the one for me. The sleeper hit.
Right.
I am the sleeper hit.
But, it's like you and I were talking about prior to the podcast. It's like if you listen to, like, a lot of the ballads, you can tell that Baby was by far, like, she was, like, the love-struck one of the group. Like, she was, like, the mastermind.
Yeah, because if you listen to her solo albums, the 60s vibes, the ballads are all, it's all there still. She still puts out records that have the whole aura of Two Become One and Mama, Too Much. When you listen to Too Much, it might as well have been an In Bun song. To me, she could have just sang it by herself and called it a day. And when I finally saw her live, she did sing Two Become One by herself. And it was like, it might as well have just been her song.
Now, I remember when I first heard Two Become One, and I remember, like, I think it was only maybe 45 seconds in before I decided that was my favorite Spice Girls song up to that point. Mm-hmm. Because it was like, you had heard Wannabe. Wannabe was, like, fast and frantic and fun. Then you had Say You'll Be There, which was, like, it's a great song, but it sounded like the obligatory hit single. Mm-hmm. Like, that sounded like, of the 10 songs on that album, it sounded like, that one sounds like the one the label was like, this is going to be the song you have to put out. Mm-hmm. Like, Wannabe is the fun song, it introduces you, but you guys have to put this one out. So it's a great song, but it sounds like a pop song that a major label was like, no, you guys are gonna have to put this one out. Mm-hmm. But then Two Become One was such a different change of pace because you had bouncy, frantic, and fun, and you had dancey pop, and all of a sudden they came out with this ballad, and I was like, oh, okay, they got love songs too. I'm with it.
I have to say, my favorite song off of that album is If You Can't Dance, though.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Because, the sample is hilarious. The rapping is hilarious. And Jerry with her Spanish is hilarious. Okay, some of you may or may not know that she is indeed half Spanish. Her mother is from Spain. So she tends to want to rap and sing in Spanish. It's like, okay, we understand, but you're very awkward. Your accent is thick as cold grits, boo. We don't need it. It's like when you hear Mike Bloomberg speak Spanish and he sounds like an American speaking horrible Spanish. Yeah. Imagine that British, but trying to be sexy. Because she was like really whispering and purring in that song. It was hilarious.
I think, thinking back now, my favorite song on the first album is also what I think is probably the most underrated song on that album. Last Time Lover.
I like Last Time Lover.
That song is so underrated.
Naked is also very nice. It could have been sung by someone else, and I feel like it would have been a hit. But the fact that it was on the first Spice Girl album, it sort of just didn't fit anywhere. Yeah. But it was a great song. It was a serious song. It should have been an All Saints song.
Oh my God, All Saints. That's another one, another group I can do a whole fucking episode about. Because let me tell you about the All Saints. Man, me and Kai got some stories. But, yeah, and I think that's why I liked Naked so much, because that was the complete, like, moment of the album. It's like, yeah, we're gonna make you dance, aha, here's that one really, really weird song. Mm-hmm. But then it's not weird, and, like, lyrically, like, going back and reading the lyric, I think lyrically, that is probably, like, in the top 5 Spice Girls songs anyway.
Yeah. And I feel like that is definitely 100% Sporty. Because if you listen to Sporty's solo stuff, it's very on the edge of being rocky and, like, clubby, but it's not poppy so much.
Yeah.
It's more of a serious, it's more of an adult type vibe.
And I have to say, Lifestyles of Exposed and Bare is still one of my favorite lyrics written into any song ever. I thought that was fucking
it's like
genius.
Really, that's perfect.
Lifestyles of Exposed and Bare. I love it. And I remember when they had that...
And the section where they're on the phone and she's like, what do you mean? Talking to this man that you don't hear, but you can tell that he's like, I can't fuck with you anymore. You're a bit trashy. I just imagine the other side of this conversation. And she's like, oh, I was just trying to be 100% with you. And he's like, yes. 50 was sufficient. and just hanging up and taking off.
I remember when they had the, they had that crazy deal where fucking, you could watch one of their concerts live on pay-per-view.
Yes, and I still have it on VHS.
And they did naked, and they all sat butt-ass naked in those black chairs. Mm-hmm. Still one of my favorite moments ever in history. And
that moment outed me.
You know what? Considering the timing of, when we first had that talk, I can see that.
I was super gay for that shit. I was ready.
I can see that.
I replayed that part of that concert tons of times.
I'll never forget. I watched the concert and I sang along to every song. And I remember Aunt Amanda just looking at my mom and going, this boy really know every song on this album.
He was singing his ass off. He was a cheerleader, and I was sitting there lusting.
I was, man. Let me tell you, if there was any moment in my life where any member of my family thought that I was going to be gay, it was when that Spice Girls pay-per-view special came out.
Oh, he was queening his heart out.
Every single song, even the fucking like deep cuts.
Besides the deep cuts.
Take Me Home.
Oh, Take Me Home. Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
That was a good one. Oh, yeah. And then, then the movie came out, the Spice World. I found the Spice World movie very amusing. Even though I still wonder to this day, what's up with this Asian girl? Where is she, by the way? She was kind of cute.
I love the movie, but my big thing about the Spice World is I can probably quote that movie word for word. I still laugh at it like it's my first time seeing it, but I still, for the life of me, can't tell you what the fucking plot is. I don't know what the movie's actually about.
I just remember thinking, I'm going to go there one day and I'm going to get on a double-decker bus and shit's going to go down.
Yep.
So I'm happy with the fact that it actually transpired.
That was also the first time I heard schedule pronounced schedule.
Yes.
And me being the stupid American was like, why does that fucking guy just keep saying it wrong? And why did no one stop him? How did this make the movie? And I was like, oh, wait, no, we're the ones who fucked that word
The
up.
only thing that irked me about that movie was the section where they were singing I'm the leader of the gang.
Yeah.
But it never came out on an album.
Yeah.
I was like, I was ready for this. This was a good song.
Same thing with...
I'm the leader of the gang. I was ready for that shit.
Same thing with My Boy Lollipop.
Yeah.
And I remember a week after that movie coming out, just saying, My Boy Lollipop.
I'm like, where is it?
You make my heart go giddy up every time.
Perfect. They should have put that in a commercial for the fantasy balls. Everything would have led into each other, and it would have been perfect.
Yep.
But they missed that boat.
But I was like, no leader of the gang, no My Boy Lollipop. And then the Spice World album came out, and I was like, okay, so My Boy Lollipop has got to be on here. Right?
Not at all.
Nope. Trick the Gucci on that one.
Regular songs. Too Much was a good one. Stop was my favorite.
Too Much.
Video-wise.
Yes.
Stop was an adorable fucking video. And they look great in those old 60s get-ups with the turtlenecks, the blazers. Yes, honey.
I think Too Much is probably my all-time favorite Spice Girls song. Just because they went like I feel like they went all out for that song. The fucking piano intro, then the guitar, then there's a horn section.
Yeah,
and
it's very well orchestrated.
Yeah, it just turns into
production value's great, and the video's phenomenal.
And it holds up well for like 1998.
If you listen to it now, it's just like passable. You know what? It's almost Kylie Minogue worthy.
Yes.
It could have been a Kylie track. I would have took it.
It could be a Kylie. You know what? And I was thinking about it because I actually had this conversation with a friend of mine and we were talking about Too Much. And he asked if I would ever accept a cover of Too Much. And I was like, no. But then I thought about it and I was like, it would be acceptable, but it would have to be the right 5 women on the cover. On the cover. I don't want, and it's not a knock on them, but I don't want Cardi B, Nicki Minaj. No, I want, Kylie Minogue, Pink, Summer Walker, maybe.
Some actual singers.
Yeah, exactly.
I understand. Something, plausible.
Maybe Tiana Taylor, It would have to be the right 5 people on the cover. But I still really wouldn't want to hear anybody do Too Much.
I feel like I don't think that people should cover Spice Girl songs just because they're so they are songs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not just like a rock song or a band. I feel like when it comes to certain groups, especially when they're so compartmentalized and character-like, you kind of can't really mess with it.
Yeah, like the Spice Girls songs
it would be like
theirs.
Somebody covering certain Rolling Stones songs when you just see Mick doing his dance and strutting and acting a fool, and you're like, no.
As someone who once tried to cover Start Me Up in high school, I can attest to that. Not everybody can do the Stones.
No. You just the Spice Girls they're their own entity. Yeah. And it's not like where it's just like a group and you're kind of all meshed in with with itself, like the Supremes, where you could say the Supremes are Diana Ross and this is this, and we're singing that. No, everyone is their own section. And
that was what I was actually listening to because we were right when the storm has subsided. Erica and I decided to go to Target. Big fucking mistake. So, the traffic had gotten so bad that on the ride home, we had time to listen to both Spice Girls albums in their entirety. Well, the first two. Because Forever is a great album, and I'll get into that. But the first 2 albums, we had enough time to listen to them in their entirety. Erica's not very familiar with the Spice Girls. She was more like the Backstreet Boys side of the spectrum.
Y'all can have it.
And I was like, one thing that I loved about the Spice Girls is that all 5 of them sang. It wasn't like Melanie Chisholm in the Spice Girls or Melanie Brown in the Spice Girls.
Pussycat Dolls.
Exactly. It's not like the Pussycat Dolls where you get one chick and then 7 women behind her doing whatever the fuck.
Yeah, And that's not a diss because I'm going to see them bitches. Okay?
Again, I am super jealous. And also a very, very... there was this meme on Facebook the other day, and it was you're a grown-ass man, but what girly song gets you every time? And without fail, I would Stick With You by the Pussycat Dolls. Okay. That song gets me every fucking time.
I really like their version of Sway.
Yeah.
It's nice.
But Stick With You gets me every fucking time.
I got you. I liked Who Do You Think You Are off of Spice World. That's a good one. Because I'm a disco hoe.
The race is on to get out of the bottom. Every time.
That's right. I like the horns in that.
Yes.
I like the video. It was funky, even though I don't think it came out in America.
It did. It aired. I remember it, and I remember this like yesterday. I remember it perfectly.
You remember the Spice Girls documentary where they were talking about themselves that I had on VHS that people seem to forget exists?
Yep.
It's them sitting on a couch talking about themselves and like playing random videos. But for some reason, when you mention it to people, they're like, I don't know what you mean.
It's like the Spice Girls video game. People are like, the Spice Girls. I'm like, yes, the Spice Girls had a video game.
They sure did.
It's not a very good one.
And they all look like bobbleheads.
Oh, Jesus Christ. They all look like bobblehead versions of themselves.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to the PlayStation 1. That was something.
And to this day, it's still a better game than Britney's Dance Beat.
That shit ain't make no sense. I'm sorry, boo.
I love you, Britney.
I love you and your football playing neck. Yeah. But that video game was garbage.
Oh, my God. But... yes, I actually remember the video for Who Do You Think You Are aired one time, and it was on UPN. Probably. And they did it in between, it was in between the season finale of Moesha and the season finale of Clueless, because you know Clueless used to come out right after. Clueless was like white people's Moesha.
Yeah.
It was like now that Moesha was over, all the white people would be like, oh, okay, well now we can turn it back to Channel 9 and watch Clueless. So it was impeccable timing.
Yeah, they caught everybody.
Yeah, so right in between those two, the video for Who Do You Think You Are came on. And I was like, I didn't even know there was a video for this. And I saw it on UPN, and then I never saw it again. Until like I bought some
until that documentary where they were sitting there watching themselves.
That was it.
You know, and then the tour happened where they were finally going to go on the world tour where, you know, Jerry had her titty attack and quit in the middle of the tour. For some reason, I feel like America must be jinxed because it was just like every time they would attempt to come here, for some reason, somebody would fall the fuck out.
I mean, look what we did to Jimmy Ray.
Hey, you know, he got an album out.
I listened to some of it, and I was like, you know what? I'm glad he's back.
I like Jimmy Ray. You're a good time. I mean, hey, it's like when I saw Nene Cherry live finally. And they were like, this is her first time playing in New York. I'm like, how?
Okay, so speaking of Nene Cherry, I only just recently learned that her and Eagle Eye are siblings.
I don't see how they look alike.
I had no idea that Eagle Eye Cherry and Cherry were brother and sister.
Oh, yes, indeed.
I also didn't realize that his real name was Eagle Eye, which I think is fucking badass.
That's cool. So yeah, you know, that there was people were crying, like young girls were crying outside when they found out that Jerry had left the Spice Girls. And I'm like, well, you know, these things happen. And I remember somebody telling me this when they were like really, really in the throes of being popular. This rando at a record store was like, girl groups don't never last. They're not like boy bands. Men can stick together. Women can't. Women get married. Women have attitudes. Women do this. They break up. And I was like, that's fucked up to say. And then this shit happened. She leaves the group. This one's pregnant. This one's getting married. All hell broke loose. It was like this fucking rando put voodoo on them. I was like, what kind of fucking Louisiana backwoods Eva's bayou shit did this man do? I'm looking at a calendar and you're up here giving me life speeches about bitches and hormones.
Not my ginger.
Yo, she took the fuck off. You remember when we repurposed the calendars into posters?
Yep.
We had Spice Girl calendars and then we fucking repurposed them into posters, frames and all. We was high class fans.
We were
high class broke ass fans.
I'll never forget my next door neighbor. I was outside rollerblading and she comes downstairs. Sweetest lady ever. And she goes, I have something for you. And I was like, yeah? And she goes, your mom told me that you really, really like the Spice Girls. And I was like, yeah? She goes, then here. She gave me this big ass Spice Girls poster that like took up my whole wall. And to me, that was like better than receiving cocaine for Christmas. I was like, I fucking rollerblades and all went up the stairs of my apartment in rollerblades and put that shit on my wall, and it sat right there above my bed
The only thing I remember not getting were Spice Girls dolls. Just because, I wasn't a doll person. And it would have been weird. I felt like if I would have got Spice Girl dolls, I never would have opened them. Which, thinking about it now as an adult, would have been great because I probably would have been able to sell them for $1 million. But at the time, I was like, I'm not going to play with them. I'm not going to do anything with them. And I just didn't bother.
I have Sporty and Baby. I just don't remember where. But I know that I have them. I have them. And I have to check with... I have to check with Mimi because I'm sure she knows. Because I have them. And also in that bin, I have all 5 of the fucking NSYNC puppets.
Oh, goodness. I saw them shits at the thrift shop at one point. Yeah, I should have bought one. I sold them on the internet.
I have the NSYNC marionettes.
What a mess. So, so then it's all over with. The Spice Girls unravel for a little while. And then they come back with Forever. And we all know that I have a theory that anytime a motherfucker puts out a record called Forever, they ain't gonna sing no more.
Yep.
Look, always. Think about it. Michael Jackson.
Oh, yeah, he put out Invincible.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Nope. Didn't Bobby Brown put out a Forever?
I'm pretty sure.
Nope, nothing, never. You put out a record named Forever or Invincible or, One of a Kind. Yeah. Unstoppable. Your ass ain't gonna sing no more.
Yeah, that's the end of the line, Jack.
And as a matter of fact, don't even put to be continued at the end of anything either, because usually there ain't no fucking continuation. That's just what I've noticed.
That's a good point.
When was the last time you saw some shit that said to be continued and it got concluded?
Aside from Prince's 3 hit and run albums.
Oh, that's because Prince was on some shit. He could have took any old thing from that vault and threw it together, called an album, said he was concluding. No, I ain't know what the fuck. That's different. That's different. So Forever came out, and then I felt like this wasn't really spicy because the Englishness of Ginger was gone.
Yeah,
because if you listen to this album, it is significantly more R&B-ish. And I feel like it's almost borderline American.
It is. It's super American. Super, and I think that's what happened.
It lacked a lot of pop.
I mean, it had its moments. Mm-hmm. Like Tell Me Why is a gem. Goodbye, of course, which probably is the most Spice Girl sounding song on that album.
That's because it was fucking Emma Bunton written all over it again. I was like, y'all just said, Emma, write a sad song for Jerry.
The last song is the most Spice Girl song on that album. Tell Me Why was good. I did like Holler, but I refused to believe it was the Spice Girls at first. And then I saw Emma, and I was like, this is really a Spice Girl song.
It is. And I mean, the video was... I love that video because it was very cinematic.
Yeah, and for no reason. But
it was kind of creepy, too.
There was that one song up there. Was it If You Want to Have Some Fun?
Yes, If You Want to Have Some Fun, it to me is great. But that's because it's a fucking Shalimar song redone.
Yeah. And it threw me for such a loop. Because when that intro first started playing, I was like, this is it. We're getting a real Spice Girl song. And the fucking record scratches. And I was like, oh, it's another R&B track.
Yeah. It is. And you know
Good
what?
Song,
that's because it's a fucking Shalimar song. It's a Shalimar song redone. You really couldn't fuck it up.
Yeah, this is true.
But you know what? When I listen to Forever... It just reminds me of Victoria Beckham's solo album that was never released because we got a countdown. The countdown of Victoria Beckham's solo record because it never came out. Anyway, her solo album was very hoodie. It was very hoodie. She was signed to the Rock Nation, right?
That's right.
Or Rockefeller, one of the other.
One of those,
something rocky, and it had a lot of Forever flavor to it because it's sort of like watered down weird R&B.
Yeah.
That was awkwardly English.
I remember the first solo Spice Girl song I remember hearing, strangely enough, actually was Emma's. Because she had that one song for the Pokemon soundtrack. It was Free Up Your Mind.
Yes, Free Up Your Mind. And then the album Free Me came out.
Yep.
And I was on a fucking campaign because now I was an 18-year-old adult running around screaming about how this woman was the greatest ever. Lay Your Love on Me, No Sign of Life. Free Me is 100% solid record. If you are a Spice Girls fan, you should own this album because it's probably as close to getting a fourth Spice Girl record as that you was ever gonna get.
Yeah. I'm a fan of A Girl Like Me.
Mm-hmm. That was a good one.
Was that spell it O-U-T?
Yes.
That great song.
She put out a Christmas album recently that was pretty nice. Mel C is still doing stuff.
Northern Star. That fucking album.
I mean, it had Left Eye on it. Yep. How could you lose?
Rest in peace to Left Eye, man.
Now, see, Mel C had a cameo and a guest spot that was used properly. Yep. Unlike Mel B, who wasted Missy Elliott. I Think I Want You Back got to be the worst song Missy Elliott ever been on in her life. I'm going to wait for a motherfucker to tell me something to the contrary. Because that shit was a waste of a hit.
I'm the M to the ELB, you know me. Yeah.
I think I want you back. Your love is all deep and packed. What the fuck,
and what fucking kills me is that song was for a movie about Frankie fucking Lyman.
Which didn't make any sense either.
Who was already long dead when the fucking Spice Girls were a thing.
And it was kind of bad. I mean, Mel B put out 2 records, and then she seemed to have acted a lot. I really didn't realize how many movies I saw her in until recently, when I was trying to realize what she'd been doing the past couple of years. Before she became like a baby mama. She a professional baby mama, reality host lady. I remember when she was, you remember she got in this whole thing with listen, you fucking up when Eddie Murphy won a paternity test on a child that looked like he spit in the corner and it appeared. She must have been doing some things. But it's okay. I mean, it's rectified now. She fine.
I'm not gonna lie, I would go on America's Got Talent just to meet Scary Spice.
I want her to sign her autobiography. You remember when they started that rumor that her and Jerry was messing around?
Oh, Jesus.
I was like, see, that's that Gemini bullshit. They be clowning too much. And then when motherfuckers take them serious, they get all upset.
But, man, let me tell you, I could go on America Got Talent and Scary Spice could tell me my song sounded like somebody farted in my dinner. I'd be like, thank you. It's a pleasure to meet you.
I started singing I Think I Want You Back to the bitch.
I'm like,
my song ain't no good. Fuck you. I think I want you back.
Yeah. I know it might sound whack, but I think I want you back.
And that's how she ended up with all them kids.
And the fact that fucking Timbaland co-signed that bullshit. Come on, Timbo. Do better. Do better,
that
Timbo.
Shit was Magoo worthy, not Timbaland worthy.
I saw a list recently, and it was like the 50 worst rappers of all time, and number 1 was Magoo. And I was like, damn.
That ain't true.
I was like, first of all, who the fuck remembers Magoo? I'm like, secondly, was he really that bad? So I went back.
I mean, he was horrible.
Yeah, I went back and listened to a Timbaland and Magoo album, and I was like, neither one of them are a particularly good rapper. They just sounded good together. Yeah.
It's kind of like when you're drunk.
Right.
They're club music.
I'm like, Timbaland's a hell of a producer. But neither one of them is a particularly good rapper.
No, but the Northern Star record was really good. I felt like it had an adult vibe. It was very sturdy. It's a good record. I Turn to You is a good song.
I'm gonna tell you, there was so many babies made to that song. I gotta tell you, every girl who was in love with any nigga ever dedicated I Turn to You.
The older I got, the more I realized that in certain aspects, Sporty Spice was the LGBT's main Spice Girl.
Yeah. Definitely.
Because because she seemed manly. I don't know. All I know is that she's consistently aiding them, and they are a fan of her. And her new album, everybody love that shit. They bumping it. Granted, we in quarantine. I know they bumping it because I heard them bump it.
Yeah.
And Jerry's solo shit.
Schizophrenic.
Yeah, even, you know what? She put out 3 solo albums.
Yeah.
Which I feel like a lot of people really only remember the first 2. But Scream If You Want to Go Faster was a really solid album to me.
I think I've only ever actually heard half of it.
Mm. Yeah, you know, I thought she wasn't bad. It's just she's not a great singer, but she is a very good entertainer.
Her cover of It's Raining Men fucking tickles me to no end.
Yeah, it's like,
hilarious.
You know, it's like she's selling a product. She's
pretty much.
It. I find her amusing. But she was very popular over there. I feel like she probably is still the most popular Spice Girl in England. If you were to ask an English person who their main Spice Girl was.
I think so, just on the strength that the Spice Girls are apparently doing another reunion tour next year, and nobody gives a fuck that Victoria's not a part of it. They're just glad that Jerry's back.
Yeah, exactly. You see, this is the thing. It's because Victoria, you know, granted, she was probably my number 2 out of them. I liked her as her personality to me was entertaining. She was not singing, really. She was there. She had a lot of style. She seemed to have a lot of say. She seemed like more of the management type than the singer type. But I feel like, hey, that broad did what she had to do. She got in a group. She made a bunch of money. She went and found some Donald Duck sounding ass soccer playing motherfucker, cut his hair, dressed him up, and made him a sex symbol. And now she involved in a whole power couple. Yeah. That's a bitch's dream. She ain't got to sing no more, especially since she wasn't singing hardly any fucking way. What's she doing? I guarantee you, if you listen to all 3 Spice Girl songs, maybe if you listen to all 3 albums, she probably sang 15 minutes worth of music.
Oh shit! I don't even think that.
It probably ain't even that much. Because I think
too much. She only gets a solid 5 seconds of the song. She'll have
like 1 line a record.
Yeah.
Yeah. You would think that the Spice Girls was the fucking Wu-Tang Clan. Like if they had 15 motherfuckers or something trying to sing in the song, and she would just sing like, "Yeah, baby," woo, and didn't just fucking appear. Because she didn't really do nothing.
I think the one song.
She was cute though.
The one song I remember Victoria having the most vocals on is Spice Invaders, which is funny because none of them fucking singing that song.
No, it's all talking, you know. But it's fine. I mean, in her solo album, I like I Wish was a good song to me. I like I Wish, and I like No Tricks, No Games because I'm all about a bitch showing up with real hair.
Right.
That's it.
Now I'm gonna pick your brain for a minute because this question was actually submitted to me by my buddy Carl, who is a regular listener of the podcast and one of my biggest supporters. And what's up, Carl? Now, if you had to pick Schizophrenic or Northern Star?
Northern Star.
Northern Star.
I would pick Northern Star.
No time. Because you didn't have to think about it.
No, I didn't have to think about it because I actually owned it. I bought it on cassette when it came out.
Yeah.
Schizophrenic, I heard, I listened to, but I bootlegged.
Right.
I feel like if I actually physically bought an album of yours, because back in the day I was a fucking bootlegger, I keep it real, that was my profession. I really liked it. I wanted it. And I bought Northern Star.
Plus, I think that Suddenly Monday is probably one of the best Spice Girl songs ever. It's one of the best songs ever created by any member of the Spice Girls, including even Suddenly Monday is just such a great song.
It's a good time. It's a good time. You know, but hey, a lot of people, when the Spice Girls went on tour again, the first time they went on tour, where you had to get the passcode to buy the tickets and all of that. I was broke and I sold my passcode to motherfuckers to buy tickets. I sold whatever. I didn't go see them.
I went. I had to. I missed the opportunity as a kid, and it cost me 2 paychecks.
It's fine.
So I had to.
I sold my passcode, and I went to 4 or 5 different shows. As a matter of fact, it paid for me to see Kylie, which I felt was better of a deal.
I still need to see Kylie live. I've never.
Now.
Or at least Danny.
Yeah, I want to see them both. I mean, I've seen Kylie like 4 times already, but I would like to see Danny. Danny, I'm coming for you, girl. Now, I don't care where you at.
This will have to be another episode for another time. And I tell you, my sister is literally the biggest Kylie Minogue fan on the planet.
Yo, I love her. I went to Spain for the bitch.
She did. Flew all the way out to Spain just to see Kylie Minogue and came right the fuck back.
Yeah.
Dedication.
So, I mean, I went to England to see Baby Spice. Yes, I decided to go see her for her Christmas solo concert. And I got everything that I wanted, which is also going to lead me into why I didn't go see the Spice Girls when they went on tour. Because I didn't want to see their asses. I didn't want to see them. I was like, I want to see her, really. And if she appears, then I'll go see her. And then if they come back, I'll go see them. But really, what I want to do is sit there and listen to Emma Bunton sing Maybe and Free Me. And then when she announced that she was doing a solo Christmas show, I was in there like swimwear. I bought that ticket, and I took my happy ass to England in December in the fucking cold.
I really want to see, I really want to see Emma anyway, but I especially want to see her because, like, it's my dream to see her and Robbie Williams do that new version of Two Become One live.
Oh, she did it with her husband. It was not bad. Jade is a pretty good singer. And fucking Jerry Halliwell. Oh, wait. That's not her name anymore, right? It's Harper or something.
Yeah,
right?
it's like Jerry Harper.
Jerry, something like that. Either way, she was in the audience. Yo, why all them old bitches went crazy? Looking, turning, and swirling. Everybody's looking. Yo, her dress was gorgeous, though. She looked very nice. She's holding it together all right.
I love that they're all still, like, super supportive of each other.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, nah, we're not the Spice Girls anymore, but that's still my fan.
And I like the fact that Victoria's like, I'm not being involved in this, but nobody seems to have an attitude about it.
Yeah,
because if they were American, you know somebody would be on fucking TMZ right now screaming and hollering about how this bitch need money and don't need money or she uppity. No, everybody's fine with her not coming.
Yeah.
You know, they should just have the audience sing her lines. They could probably grab they could probably grab a rando from out the crowd and it still carry the note better. It wouldn't make no difference.
I'll do it.
It'll be fine. Or they could replace her with the black chick that don't want to come back to the Pussycat Dolls. Replace Posh Spice with Melody Thornton.
I'm here for it.
I'm here for that.
Or Normani from fucking Fifth Harmony.
Hey, that's fine. We'll take it. One of them 80 million missing sugar babes.
What are the girls from Soap doing?
Yo.
Or one of the members of Cleopatra.
Yo. Right?
Oh my God, Cleopatra.
Girls. That'd be great. I'd like that. Yo, I miss Cleopatra. They were good
too. That's the you know, I still
that was
listen.
When I discovered Jamaicans. English Jamaicans. Yes, English Jamaicans. That's what I discovered.
I knew they were Jamaican the first time I heard their names.
When I saw them, I was like, these bitches Jamaican.
It was like Cleopatra, and then the other one, her name was Zenom, and I was like, they Jamaican.
They Jamaican.
Zenom.
English Jamaicans. That's right. I like it. I'm a fan.
I am. I still listen to that album regularly. The fucking Bird song gets me in my feels all the time.
That's a good song. We can talk about, you know, English girl groups, British girl groups all day.
That's true.
You know, because I'll end up talking about Mystique and how Alicia was rapping about shit that ain't had nothing to do with none of them songs. But they kept her because she was cute.
Fuck yeah, All Saints. We could probably just go on about obscure girl groups forever.
Probably.
Like Wild Orchid.
Hey, Fergie in the house. In case y'all don't know, Fergie was in fucking Wild Orchid.
She was Stacey Ferguson.
That's right, and Supernatural. You know, I actually still have Tambourine on my phone. I listen to Tambourine from time to time. Aren't you gonna come? Won't you gonna come? Won't you come play? Yeah!
And, of course, Soap. This is how we party.
I mean, Soap was on Mariah Carey's record label, Crave, that she had back in the day.
That's right.
Mariah Carey had a record label, and she was grabbing up all kind of rando fucking European groups.
That's how Billy Piper.
Hey, Honey to the Bee. That was a good CD. Such a good album. Fantastic.
Billy Piper. Honey. And now everybody's like, oh, well.
Yeah, that's that girl from... Doctor Who.
That's it. Yeah, everyone's like, "Oh, it's Billy Piper from Doctor Who,"
and I'm like, "No, she's a singer."
That is Honey to the Bee.
That's right.
She just went by the name Billy. We didn't know her last name back then.
We ain't know her. That's all right. It's kind of like when people don't remember that Pink sang R&B.
Oh yeah.
We're in the past, but. Anyway, since I finally saw Emma, I said when the Spice Girls go on tour again, I will go see them. Because now I'm not worried about spending up money that was going to prevent me from seeing Emma Blunt solo. I'm sorry. It was not trying to do that. No. I was waiting, and I hedged my bets, and I won.
Didn't the Spice Girls have that one song? Wasn't that one song on the album, the fucking theme song for Pepsi for like 2 years?
Move over! Yeah!
That's the one!
Generation Next!
That's the one!
Generation Next with their big ass shoes and their silver coats.
And fucking Jerry kissing the camera with a can of Pepsi. That's the one. Yeah. One of them was a theme song for Pepsi forever.
Yes, Generation Next.
And I also am still upset that.
And then I think they ended up getting replaced by Britney, right?
Yeah.
She was the next one after that. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, Britney Spears. Britney Spears.
You know what? We should have another one, and it should be Britney versus Christina.
Erica and I have actually had this debate at length before, but I think that that's definitely an episode that people would want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Britney versus Christina.
You know, everybody has their favorites. It is what it is. But
and I'm gonna keep my answer. I'm gonna keep my answer and my thoughts on it for an episode.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's definitely gonna be one I think people will want to hear.
Mm-hmm. It's
also like the great Backstreet Boys versus NSYNC debate.
Mm-hmm. Everybody has their opinion. And you see, I was horrible with American boy bands. Because you remember I liked Five.
Oh my God, Five.
Yeah. You know, I like Take That.
Go out.
Yeah, I like Take That. I liked Five. You know, Westlife. Yeah, I just didn't like American boy bands. I don't know why. It's just they weren't my kind of thing.
I liked the lesser known American boy bands. Like I was big into Youngstown. O-Town, yeah, 98 Degrees.
You know, Ashley from O-Town has a baby with my friend's friend.
No shit.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, it's fucking weird.
That's fucking great. That was another really weird, like, obscure. I was a fan of No Authority.
I like No Authority. They were cool. But yeah, see, I like Spanish boy bands. You know, Magneto and all that. Fucking Oof. Them motherfuckers.
And fun fact for you guys listening out there, No Authority, the original lead vocalist, Josh Keaton, you guys may know him now. He's been the voice of Spider-Man in the animated series for quite some time.
Hey.
And he's also my favorite animated Spider-Man that isn't Miles Morales. Just throwing that out there.
Understandable.
Yeah.
You gotta keep the Latino vibe moving.
Absolutely. That's enough. We can do another episode on that too. Fucking Spanish boy and girl groups.
Oh yeah, you know I'll come with my Timbiriche.
I was about to say Timbiriche has to have. They have to have their own fucking episode.
Their own episode because I'm gonna talk about Paulina Rubio and Thalia and all of them.
Oh my God, Paulina Rubio.
I saw her live last year. She still look good.
Does she?
She holding it together.
How is Marta Sanchez and how I hope to look at 70?
In a million years, right? No, Marta Sanchez is fantastic. So, She actually, since now Spain is back to normal, like their quarantine is pretty much over. She did a concert on the 1st of August, and I was salty as a motherfucker that I can't go because I'm American, and y'all keep fucking around with this corona, got me held the fuck hostage in this United States.
Agreed. I'm over this shit.
I'm over this shit. I'm from New Jersey. We green. We green. There needs to be a special clause in Europe to allow motherfucker from New Jersey to come, because bitches is waiting for me. All right, I had a whole in Barcelona waiting for me to come see Marta Sanchez. And here I am in fucking Patterson, New Jersey, sweating and going to work. I refuse to be involved with any of this. So yeah, Marta Sanchez did a fucking piano tour.
Really?
Yeah, and I couldn't go. I'm salty. But that's all right. That's okay. Because I got to sit and be with Monica Naranjo, which was good enough.
Yeah. But, anyways, I appreciate you joining me for this episode. I couldn't do it without you.
Not a problem.
And
I was just happy to rant and rave about my love of Emma Bunton.
Hey, and anytime you want to come back and rave about Emma, I and everybody else would love to have you, sis.
Not a problem.
And, thank you guys out there for listening to yet another episode of the Blatino Nerd. I will catch y'all on the next one, and as always, keep it nerdy.